3 trophies that have eluded you since you've been here. This is one of them. You could win the other one as well this year, and the big one next year if you qualify. Is that the final scenario you could see? Epilogue, end game, call it what you like.
Look, we want to win the next game. Let's be realistic. It's a great, satisfying night for us because we managed to beat a strong team, and I felt that in January we paid a heavy price for uncertainty that was existing in our dressing room, and now we are back with more clarity. We know what we have to do. We can focus on our game.
And you're back with us at Sunset Pictures. That was CK inhaling over booty. Anyways, you're back with us, episode 78 of Sunset Pictures.
Yeah, boy.
You're back with the usual suspects, Henry, CK, and Izam. Unfortunately, YuHan can't make it again this week because he's swamped with work. But we have quite a lot to talk about this time around with the 3 of us. We've got Europe, as usual. We've got Bundesliga, we've got the La Liga and Serie A. We're going to take 1 match each from each of the leagues.
I mean,
and
it's not been that much of an eventful week.
It wasn't.
But it's been eventful for a certain team.
Exactly. And we also will be starting in the AFC Under-23 competition, which is ongoing right now. We are almost towards the finals, which, to our surprise, Vietnam is in the finals. And so is Uzbekistan. We'll talk about that more later, but first off, let's go to Atalanta versus Napoli in the Serie A. Napoli winning this 1-0, extending the lead by just 1 point because Juve won again. This game, I wouldn't say it's a
YuHan puta.
Yeah, it wasn't a good. It wasn't exactly a good match. Okay, it wasn't exactly a good match, but Napoli definitely asserted their dominance in this game.
Yeah,
they absolutely asserted their dominance in this game. They had 75% possession. Just think about that. 75% possession.
I think here's the thing. Okay, sorry.
But possession doesn't win you games all the time.
Correct. And this one, right, we talked about how, before YuHan went on the break, we talked about how Atalanta played basic football. And that's what they do best. And this shows here, that's the best they can do, honestly speaking.
That's the thing though. As much as basic football can bring you anywhere, if you're going up with another team that has the same amount of basics that you have, the more...
What?
No, not joking.
Napoli doesn't have basic football. They have high intense attacking football.
No, but at least you've seen Napoli play the same kind of basic football before. But the difference between Napoli and Atalanta right now is the fact that Napoli is more creative. At the end of it, the most creative team will win despite whatever basic football you employ.
So another thing we want to add on to this game was that despite the lack of goals, right, there is a upward trend in when we started following the Italian Serie A, which was the fact that strikers in every fucking team doesn't know how to score a goal. Okay, this game,
right?
Dries Mertens had a goal drought. He scored the goal, yes, but everybody in the team didn't know how to finish. Hamšík skied his shots. You've got all your players missing headers from like point blank range. I don't know what is going on with Italy, but their strikers need to do something about it.
Now, at the end of the day, we go back to the fact that Italy is a more defensive country. Italian football, okay. Fine. Minus Conte's time here. Italian football at its essence has always been, you know what? Defend, and we'll counter whenever we can.
The other team that actually bought
Callejon, Mertens, Insigne.
Mertens is okay. I mean, like this kind of players, Insigne is pretty good.
Insigne is really good,
right?
Yeah.
But you buy players like Borini inside the league, it's just like it's very questionable.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about a league that is very, how to say it? The past 10 years of this league has been very bad. The whole max fixing scandals and everything has been detrimental to the development of the league. And we can see it now how that is already affecting the league's quality as a whole. How many channels now do you even see with Italian games?
Singaporean TV has. I'm not kidding. That Singaporean TV has.
See, exactly. So
wow.
They know that it's not actually profitable here in Malaysia to show Italian football anymore. Right. So it's a long-term thing that happened. Basically, I think this is finally showing how all that stuff has caught up with that.
Well, at the end of the day, this game was still won, but it was won by a lapse of concentration, unfortunately. But speaking of lapse of concentration, Inter Milan versus AS Roma, similar fashion. The game was a draw, unfortunately. Inter Milan 1-1. This Inter Milan is now winless with only 4 points gained from the last 6 matches that they've played.
It happens lah.
And
okay, you can say it happens, but this is actually poor form from a team
Inter
that
Milan,
had a
they
really
had
good start.
they had a very good start. They are still third place though. They are still third place, and Roma's behind them by 3 points. So this game puts them still on where they were. But in this game itself, the game justifies the scoreline. It's extremely boring. It's extremely poor. Both the teams missed their chances, and it was quite notable that without Dzeko in Roma, you can't see anything produced by Roma itself.
Al-Shaarawy, all these players, what happened to them?
This is poor, this game.
No,
Yes,
but-
El Shaarawy did score the goal, but it was a lapse of concentration which he took into advantage, just like Dries Mertens.
Again, I mean, we all expected Dzeko to be the next Totti one. And Dzeko...
He's leaving already. What?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll talk about
Dzeko's
that more
leaving,
later lah.
And Dzeko's not Totti, so we can see that it's not going to be the same story anymore. And whatever the fans have built up for Roma and the
Right.
storyline for Roma right now is basically going to be shaken up.
But the problem here is that they can't find a replacement at all. They don't have strikers in Roma.
How do you find a replacement when all your clubs aren't even getting that much?
That's true.
That's fair enough. That's fair
Right.
enough. We can bring
Okay,
Borini
not
back.
all your clubs are Juventus.
I mean, like, big clubs like, I wouldn't say Liverpool, United, City,
boleh lah. Liverpool
Madrid,
still got money,
Barca, this kind of teams like stealing all these strikers from all the Bayern Munich. Does Bayern Munich steal
They don't
players, right?
steal, they
Okay.
produce whoever they have.
Right, but still, it's like all these big squads, everybody is like being steal. I mean, like they steal all the strikers from the Italian. I mean, I wouldn't from Italian league, but it's like
The
they
quality
steal
players
it
are gone.
before the Italian league even
Yeah,
maybe actually
the
approach
quality
them.
the quality players are gone.
Right.
So in this case, I think Inter didn't have any problems with the attack. They had Icardi and what. But credit to Alisson Becker, Roma's goalkeeper. He had not put a foot wrong or hand wrong in this whole game, except for that goal. But he couldn't save it. But he was superb in the game. Absolutely superb in the game.
If you put Mignolet in the Italian league, I think he could also perform in a way.
Yeah, I guess. But it could spell problems for Italian teams when it comes to Champions League though next season, because with these kind of performances and they're still third and fourth place, what's going to happen to the Italian clubs next year?
Let's be fair here to the Italian League. How many teams in the Italian League has actually gotten past to the last 16 in the
Juve.
past few years?
Juve.
One. And that's the team that has the most money to spend right now.
That's true.
That's fair. That's
No
fair.
way.
Okay, fine. Let's move on to the Bundesliga, where we only have one match as well.
Bundesliga.
Bayern Munich versus Werder Bremen. Bayern won this 4-2.
I know, and I'm surprised that we're actually talking about Bayern this week.
There was nothing much to talk about though in the Bundesliga this week.
What happened to Leipzig?
unfortunately.
Leipzig lost, right?
I mean, don't let the the scoreline fool you. 4-2, big win for Bayern, yes.
Right.
But Bayern was actually suffering against Werder Bremen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why Werder Bremen and the whole team was playing really well. And if you actually watch the highlights, I feel like Werder Bremen were a bit hard done. They were unlucky with a few of their shots. And
It happens,
Well, I don't know. I think that one of Werder's players, Kondorf, his plays were amazing. His
Right.
runs,
You
his
shall
presence,
not
it was very
pass.
threatening against Bayern.
Right.
Okay, so it's again it's a very hard done game for Werder Bremen.
But it was expected Bayern to win, alright. For all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, even with Bayern having like a bad run of form, right? Isn't exactly a bad run of form.
Yeah.
Because they still win anyway. That's the only problem.
That's the
with
fucked
that.
up part, lah.
Yeah.
If compared to the English Premier League, it's like
When you have a bad game, you actually have a bad
you're
game.
fucking bad, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, not only bad, it's like the opponents who are really bad as well, they can outperform you.
Exactly.
But I mean, Bundesliga is a league that you can score all the time.
And you see how,
That's true.
and you're seeing how close or how tight the table is. I mean, bar Bayern Munich. But in this game itself, I mean, even with Lewandowski being poor for the past few games, right? You actually have a replacement in Thomas Muller,
Yeah,
who scored
exactly.
2 goals in this game, 2 assists from James Rodriguez as well this game. So I don't see Bayern doing anything like even if they have a bad game,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a problem for them. They're still going to win it anyway.
But let's focus less on Bayern right now. And I want to talk a bit more about Gondorf. So
Alright.
we're talking about Werder Bremen here. They are a team who are fairly established. 15 years ago, they were
Produced
one of the
Mesut Ozil,
top teams. Huh?
You got Mesut Ozil before he left for
You don't
Madrid.
blame Arsenal for them being shit lah.
Right.
But here's the thing though. Gondorf is a striker that's been unfortunately very inconsistent. Okay? And he has been getting a lot of chances, but he's been very unlucky with not converting them.
Alright.
It's the same scenario as Morata right now. And we can see this being fully displayed. Because
It's time for
of the fact
Jacko to
that-
come to Bremen. Hijack Chelsea, hijack
No,
Chelsea.
no. Okay, wait. Before that.
Wow,
So,
if they hijack Chelsea, what the fuck, dude?
Oh,
so I mean,
bitch.
currently Werder Bremen is in the 16th place, fighting to get out of the relegation zone. And what can we do about strikers like these? What is possible other than buying a good striker to play for you? What is possible for those guys?
Dig out your academy players, I guess, and
Yeah,
play them
but-
alternatively. I mean, like alternately, like that. That is the only thing I can think of in terms of maximizing your depth.
Buy Southampton strikers.
Ooh,
That's a Liverpool move.
hey. But honestly speaking, that would be it, because sometimes when you have inconsistent strikers, you have to drop them. I don't know. That's my opinion. I feel like they should drop. They should be dropped. Think about what they have done. Come back stronger next game.
What I feel should happen though is a little bit different. What I feel should happen is we leave the strikers as inconsistent as they are. You put it this way: it's rule of average. Okay. What I'm thinking right now is build a midfield to be able to feed the striker as much as he can. Rules of average would say the more someone shoots towards the goal, the more someone will score. The more likely someone will score.
I guess that's fair.
Wow.
I guess that's fair.
Because this was something that I was thinking of just now, because the whole game itself, Bremen wasn't bad. Despite, however,
They just couldn't finish the
bad the
chances.
scoreline, yeah, they just couldn't manage to find the
Man.
net. They only managed to find it twice, but that's it.
How can you explain Liverpool's season of hitting the goddamn post, dude?
No, exactly.
Can we
That
not
is the
go
rule of
there?
average for Liverpool.
was a
The more
really
you
bad
try
season, dude.
shooting at goal, the more they'll score. That's what Klopp would be banking on. The more they score, the less likely they will lose.
Until we
Because
lose
they will
Swansea.
lose in terms
Yeah,
of
until we
defending.
lost to Swansea. The amount of times the ball hit the post, man, my gosh. Okay, we don't talk about that because it's not in the rundown. All right, let's move on to Ligue 1. Finally, something interesting happening. PSG losing to Lyon in a cracker of a match. Lyon won this 2-1.
Fun, man. Fakir.
Yo, okay.
Nabil Fekir.
Okay, 11 points
Come
behind
to
of
Liverpool.
PSG coming to this. Leon was saying 11 points behind, no problem. No problem at all for them.
But honestly speaking, right, it will be a problem for them because they're not allowed to play Champions League after their fan trouble last season.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
But still, they still want to win the French league, right?
Okay, fine.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, like the lucrativeness of the league.
that is true. I mean, at the very least,
Yeah.
you're trying to hinder PSG's easy chance of getting the league.
yeah, that's fair enough.
And you're proving to other people, there's other teams other than PSG here in the league.
We are
Lyon.
big like Paris.
Lyon, for example, they came in strong. They got that first goal through Nabil Fekir in the second minute of the game.
Well,
Come to Liverpool.
to be fair, Areola was poorly positioned. He was terrible. I don't know why he even stood there.
There's a breast bun somewhere in there.
Oh my gosh.
The Areola was out of position.
It's a keeper's name!
But I mean, like, you cannot criticize Gipper for standing in that position because it's going to the top right post.
No, I still feel
Keeper
like he
was
should have placed himself
very out of
properly.
position.
He was way out of position. I would accept it if he was like somewhere far off but still near the goal. He was not. He was way out.
Yeah, 'cause
which
he was
makes me
going-
think like, why would you even decide to do that? That the ball's not going to come in there. Fekir is going to shoot. Right?
No, that's true. Plus, what Fekir saw was there was only 1% of the wall. Keeper was somewhere nearer to the penalty
Players
spot.
where all the players were packed.
Exactly.
There was
And
a
the
huge
whistle
gap.
was already
blown.
taken. Was already blown. There was no reason for him to be there.
That was mistake number one from
Would
PSG.
De Gea save that?
De Gea wouldn't be out of position.
Yeah, they wouldn't be out of position
Fine.
to start off with. Exactly. That's the only thing I can counter.
Again, I don't get what was on the keeper's mind. I'll be fully honest with you.
Yeah.
He
I don't know about
expected-
Liverpool's keeper. What's
We
in
all
his
don't,
mind?
we all never know what's going on in Mignolet's mind.
No, okay. Areola.
Punch the ball. No, I'm not gonna punch the ball.
Areola expected the ball to be crossed into the box.
So that he can go punch
was-
it out.
Yeah, it was a very sharp free kick thing. It was way at the side. But the thing is, Fekir was just like, screw it, I'm gonna just try it out.
Yeah, Fekir saw his chances. He's just gonna take it.
Dude, he was
Too much
so
gap.
out of position. It was a no-brainer for Fekir to take it.
Exactly.
Someone with only 1% at the wall.
I have to say this: PSG were extremely poor in this game.
I mean, they have their chances. They tried.
They scored, but still was.
I mean, with Mbappe being injured in the game.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
was.
like-
He was.
But okay, I'll give props to two players from PSG in this game. Silva and Kurzawa.
Ah, yes, the one who scored that goal. Kurzawa's goal.
Was sexy. But Kurzawa, in total, him being in the left back position, he played really well. He was smart with his runs. I'll give him that. Plus, he was smart enough to cover up Fekir when he needed to.
Yep. But what actually went wrong with PSG though? What happened? Like, was it because they rely on Neymar a bit too much now?
Fatigue, I think. I don't think
Would
PSG
it
has
be
that much
fatigue?
squad depth.
It's too early to call fatigue now though. If you think about it,
Early.
because
It's
Champions
already
League,
almost half the season really.
Champions League is coming soon. If you want to put an excuse of fatigue, then goodbye chances
They're
of
too
Champions
tired
League.
after the game last week, 7-0.
8-0.
8-0.
And that also Neymar wanted to score the penalty because he didn't want to give it to Cavani.
I'm the star player.
I mean, after scoring that
so
much,
selfish.
of course you're going to be like, oh god, I'm so tired from playing this game. Sarcasm aside, I do feel like it's because they do lack the squad depth.
Let's talk about the reject, dude.
Jack?
The United reject.
Oh, the pie.
Oh, Depay. Goodness.
What happened, man? Is that what United need?
Okay, no, it's not what United need.
That 7, the number 7 that they really needed, but didn't really fully develop.
I
It's
think
not
the
what
pressure and
United
the ego left the pie when he went to Lyon,
Yeah.
which was a very good thing for him.
And I think Lyon managed to convert Depay into a better player because of the fact that the whole playstyle for Lyon is what Depay needed. Depay strives in that kind of playstyle.
That's right.
Okay, I would say he fits into that mold because that mold does look more of a winger game rather than focusing on the striker.
But then it wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't disagree or I wouldn't agree with you in a sense where United gave the pie a chance, but
Yeah,
it was
I mean, like, they
just
always-
that the pressure was very big for him, but he didn't help himself with.
I
That
mean,
ego
same
that he
thing
had
like
also.
Valencia, you know? He opted out the number itself. I mean, like,
Yeah.
he got the original number 7.
Yeah, he did after the
And
pie.
Yeah.
he opted out because of the pressure of 7. I mean, like, Depay could have done that, but he was too egoistic.
I
I would say,
Yeah,
to
he
get
was too
number
egoistic.
itself.
Yeah, he
It
was.
is the psychology of numbers then. But here's another thing though. If we realize also in Manchester United, the players up front are all very egotistical.
You got Zlatan.
Not just Zlatan. Look at Pogba, look at Lingard. They are all players who, if even given the chance they could pass aside to
He would
get
try
an
to shoot.
easy goal, they're still going to try and shoot.
Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
So Depay himself, he loves doing that. But most of the time back when he was in United, whenever he tried shooting, he was in very weird positions. And I do feel that's because number one, it is the number 7 being the whole pressure.
Factor, yeah.
It was also a team of stars. I think about it.
Exactly. And number 2, he needed to show that he was, able to cope and play up to level to those players.
Oh well. Martial is better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do agree.
I cannot
Martial is a better
disagree. I
player.
cannot disagree.
But
Now,
again lah,
now with Sanchez wearing the number 7,
Sanchez isn't going to break if you ask me.
I don't know.
He's a bit more... Okay, my thought on it is Sanchez is a bit more stronger mental-wise. But here's the thing. I just talked about how egotistical they are up front, right?
Yep.
Sanchez is also quite egotistical.
Okay, let's go into the Arsenal top set so we can put Sanchez in it. Right? So, in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, let's move on to the Premier League right now. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Arsenal won this. Arsenal won this.
Sanchez who?
4-1.
Sanchez who?
Sanchez who? Oh, man.
Yo,
but Monreal,
See,
though.
that's
What
the
fuck?
only.
Exactly.
That's the only
Okay,
thing I
wait,
can
before
think
we go to
about.
Monreal.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think about right now is that this past period, this past month, past 2 months, December and January, Sanchez was acting like a cancer tumor to Arsenal, which was causing a problem for them.
I think I talked about this with Carl from Pada Bola Sepak on Friday night. Yeah. So what Carl and I talked about was Sanchez really was cancer because of the fact that he's a very introvertish kind of player.
Right.
He was like he is actually like Cristiano Ronaldo in a sense where Cristiano doesn't actually mingle around much
Yeah,
with his
he
friends
doesn't.
other than at work. No, sorry, not even friends, workmates.
Yeah.
Technically. Other than at work, other than during training, Sanchez goes home and he has his dogs. They're his good boys.
Stop playing his piano.
Manchester United! I'm coming for you!
Okay, so before we mess around with Sanchez, let's focus a bit on the Arsenal Crystal Palace game. Alright? Let's focus a bit on this Arsenal Crystal Palace
Right.
game.
It looks like a fucking rejuvenated Arsenal
Yo,
after
this-
Sanchez.
It was a
is
rejuvenated
Premier
Arsenal.
ball at its best.
Yeah, it's like fucking.
Yeah, but it was also Crystal Palace being shite lah.
Crystal Palace is shite.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Crystal
who
Palace is
concedes
right.
4 goals in 20 minutes other than Arsenal against us?
Benteke.
Yeah, Benteke was in the but Arsenal. Benteke was at the
Yeah.
goal post when Monreal scored his first goal.
That aside, I know this is a team like Crystal Palace, but I think this was what Arsenal needed to motivate the whole team to
Yeah.
show them that
We
the
are
team
back,
isn't just
nigga.
about
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez.
I mean, would you want a plane to be flown again in an away stadium? Make it 2 or 3 more planes because you guys are indecisive as fuck.
But I wasn't expecting Monreal to. I mean, like, I expect him to score.
I didn't expect the centre backs to score. That's what
I didn't expect him to assist the next 2 goals.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only question. I mean, like,
I think Monreal has
was
been,
it just lucky or just like Monreal?
Monreal has
there
been
right time,
really well in terms of his play style throughout this whole season.
Right.
This is the season where Monreal has shown his, he wants to. Okay, number one, maybe perhaps he's playing really well because he wants to be in the World Cup.
Right.
But I'm glad for that because this is the reason why Monreal was taken in the first place. He was taken in as Gibbs' apprentice in a sense. Okay, second.
Where's Gibbs now? West Brom.
Gibbs met up with Volkov the other day.
I don't care.
But okay, Nacho Monreal has shown that he's now a better player than Gibbs.
Right.
We can say that. Gibbs in Arsenal was decent. He was there when we needed him, but unfortunately he couldn't live up to what.
It's the resilience that he has as a player, lah. It's just that, don't you think? Like Monreal has been putting in the effort day in day out, but when Gibbs doesn't give a chance, he becomes a salty little bitch about
Nacho
it.
is the person that Alexis Sanchez was supposed to be
Yeah, but Alexis
in
Sanchez
defense,
is,
but because Nacho is the kind of person who has that push to win. He really wants to win, and you can see him work hard for it.
Right.
Okay? And that's what Sanchez was supposed to be up front. But unfortunately, because of the fact that Sanchez wasn't really, the most easy player to play with, that is what happens to the front attackers.
Well,
they become very demotivated at times and it becomes very toxic.
overall, this was the result that Arsenal wanted, and also Monreal was actually stretched off, or I think he was taken off.
He was taken off. He was holding his legs. Fortunately, though, he was not injured and he got to play in the next game.
Okay.
But we'll talk a little bit more about that after this. I just want to point out one more thing in that game, though. Ozil and Wilshere's chemistry together.
Superb.
Wilshere has always been good. He has really
He's just injury
changed.
prone. He's just injury prone.
Yeah, he's just very injury prone. That's one thing.
Is one thing, but Wilshere has always had a confidence problem.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that he was able to gain back after coming back from
Bournemouth.
But for the likes of Portugal, if Ramsey was added into the formation itself, what would you think?
Too powerful. It's not too powerful. It's just too
It's a
mixed
more
up.
flexible front, the three pushing the striker.
The problem with this Ramsey this season is that it's quite inconsistent though.
It's always has been inconsistent if you think about it. Ramsey.
Ramsey instead of Wilshere.
Yeah, I mean, like, what does he add into the equation for Arsenal now? Is he gonna leave soon, or is he gonna stay as a bench warmer?
You have to.
Okay. I think I got my sense of this. We'll talk about that once we get into this Carabao part. Okay, let's talk about Arsenal and Chelsea.
Right.
The game that happened last night.
Woo!
Arsenal won 2-1 in this game.
Woo! After I shit on them.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out is that Xhaka has a better
Playing position, yep.
with Wilshere. So if we play Ramsey, I would think that Xhaka's spot should be taken by El Neni.
El Neni. Okay.
So Ramsey has a more, defensive problem. Ramsey is not the kind of player that you would trust to run back down to defend. That is where El Neni comes in. So you mix Ramsey and Xhaka. That's why we've seen multiple times how the midfield was penetrated to the middle, because both Ramsey and Xhaka are very attacking prone players, which is why in this game, the 2-1 win against Chelsea, we saw Wilshere, Xhaka and El Neni, I think.
Yeah, El Neni.
Wilshere, Xhaka and El Neni. Xhaka was given the amount of space for himself to run up front and, go all out and attack.
You can see that in Crystal Palace games as well. El Neni also played, which allows Xhaka to play up front a little bit more.
Exactly. I mean, okay, this doesn't forgive Xhaka's problems with possession. He still loses possession very stupidly sometimes. But at the same time, it's something for Arsenal to work towards. Because at the very least, now we can see that Xhaka can be more useful.
Yeah.
Instead of a burden, he can be more useful in the attack. And
you know who he sounds like for me?
Who?
He's like fucking Jordan Henderson, he can push, but he cannot defend properly,
You're talking about Xhaka? Oh, Ramsey.
No, Ramsey. And he also loses the ball very often, Henderson-wise.
And most of the time it's because he always passes it back to the defense, which is unnecessary.
And here's another thing about Chelsea in this game. I didn't feel like Willian, Hazard and Pedro were doing quite well together as a trio.
But they did very well in the game against Brighton though.
Right.
Against Brighton, yeah, but then you feel the same players against Arsenal 2-3 days later. You're going to expect them to not be able to perform.
Why not?
Fatigue, tired. It's not really the full, They're not going to be fully match fit and fully rested.
Yeah.
Like in what's called different
Same could be
leagues.
said for Arsenal though.
Oh well.
Okay, here's the thing though. I don't know what happened with Arsenal. I legit don't know. But
Iwobi resurgence.
Yeah, Iwobi.
Yo, YuHan cursed it. He reverse cursed Iwobi. Remember 2 weeks ago he was attacking.
Why is Iwobi an Arsenal player? He asked that, you know.
Iwobi just went answered in 2 games. That's
Yeah,
why.
he scored one against Crystal Palace.
Crystal
right?
Palace, yeah, he
He
did.
played well.
Okay, I think
In
I
this
know
game
why,
as well.
I think I know why Iwobi was performing quite poorly. Iwobi was not in a position that he liked.
So now with Sanchez gone,
Now with Sanchez gone.
Just because he's number 17, is it? He's like, I'm 7!
No, but legit though, now with Sanchez gone, we can see Arsenal having more
flexibility because
Yeah,
they don't have
flexibility with
they
the
don't have to play
positioning.
around the player anymore.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
And Ozil doesn't have to play around Sanchez. That's the only thing I can see from here.
Welcome to Manchester United.
no, but I think that's a good thing for Arsenal now because of the fact that they don't become a very easily readable team anymore.
Yeah, I guess.
Think about it this way, because before this, we always relied on Sanchez.
Yeah.
And
Giroud.
Giroud. You cannot deny it. You did rely on Giroud for a period of time.
Cannot.
You had to.
Yeah, we had to. Plus,
Super sub! Hitter!
at least now Arsenal doesn't have to fully rely on one player all the time.
Like I said, it's gonna be that, dude.
Oh, and it's a
No,
good
no,
thing that Lacazette is back on form though.
Just because he scored.
No, okay.
He needed a goal drop.
I don't think Lacazette is going to be the one that
I don't
fully
think
rely on.
I don't think he's on form. The ball is reaching him.
Yeah,
And
why
he's
is the
in a
ball reaching
favorable position, but he's not really on form. He can score,
I
that's
didn't
all.
say Lacazette was on form either.
When he said on form, I'm just like, what?
But again, why is the ball reaching him? Because of the fact that the midfield
Yeah,
can now
it's flexible.
work properly. Okay? There is no burden on the left wing anymore.
Good for Arsenal.
That's true.
And Siki is just trying to jinx it again.
Good for Arsenal.
We move on to the losing party, which is Chelsea FC. Chelsea, we don't talk about the game so much over the weekend. We talk about their transfer activity because
Yeah.
it seems that they are spending money unwisely again.
No, I mean like transfer rumors.
Yeah.
What they are looking for a target man. Who was in the
Carroll was in it.
Carroll was in it. Benteke was called. Peter Crouch.
Peter Crouch, yes,
Even
Peter
Peter
Crouch.
Crouch was rumored to go to Chelsea.
Why? I mean, like the Chelsea is getting so desperate to get a target. man.
Exactly. So the last, I feel most likely target that what they call Chelsea will get is Edin Dzeko.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's a good move, but I don't think in the long run. I mean, like
I don't want to see the Robota dance. I mean, like the robot dance. Robot.
in a blue shirt, right? You want to stick it with the red shirt, right? Just want to stay in the red shirt
I
forever.
don't want him to dance like a robot in Stamford Bridge. That's all.
I get it. I
In a
totally
blue
get
shirt.
it. I totally
Yeah,
get
but
it.
another thing you have to think about Chelsea is the fact that they want to keep up that what's called English quota.
True.
Yeah, no. Let's not talk about English quota because we've already brought in Edin Dzeko here already in this picture. We cannot talk about English quota anymore.
No, here's the thing though. You bring in Dzeko and then you get Crouch at the same time just to fill out the quota.
That's a very stupid move from Chelsea. But it's something that Chelsea would do though.
Yeah,
to be
but it's
honest.
something that they have
It's
to
some-
do.
because it's something that I see them doing.
I think not only just Morata as well. I mean, like the statistics saying that Morata has scored with more with his head. Is it why then Conte is looking for a target man that can hit? the
But it's
ball?
just his first season though.
Might be leaving as well. He doesn't like the
So we're
atmosphere
gonna
there.
put a Pogba clause on him, give him 1 season and see what's gonna happen next season.
I mean, he scored
Shouldn't
a few
we all,
goals in
though?
the,
Yeah.
what do you call it, start of the season, but now he's injured, right? If I'm correct.
And also
Morata.
being poor lah. It's
Yeah.
quite poor also lah.
No money.
And because of that also Chelsea has been going on a run of nil draws.
Right.
And prior to the game that they won. But yeah, you can see the fatigue was definitely setting in and depth was needed, but the positions that they're buying, to me, it's quite wrong. I mean, especially with Emerson Palmieri as well coming in with Dzeko from Roma. I don't see a need for another fullback. You've got Marcos Alonso, you've got Zappa Costa, you've got Aspilicueta.
I think the problem with Chelsea right now is I feel like they don't really have a plan with what they want to do.
It's like a more panic buy. kind of-
I
yeah.
think so too. But there's a lot of panic buys though.
A
which
lot
would-
of these panic buys are because of the fact that they just don't know where they're going.
It's just giving a platform for Conte to just fucking leave, you know.
No, think about
that's about it. That's what I can see happening right
Chelsea, when did they end the last season? First, right?
now. Yeah.
And then now, where are they?
Third?
In the middle of the season? No.
You're third.
The third. Liverpool lost what?
Oh yeah, Liverpool lost. Forgot about that. That was the week before.
The third. Yeah.
Our spirits just went down.
Yeah.
Just like that.
But the only thing I can take out from that is that, you know what, it was bound to happen anyway.
But yeah,
Fuck
okay.
off. I
okay.
captain Salah. I bought Firmino.
I also captain Salah, okay, it's okay.
No.
We all go through the pain
this,
together.
Imagine this, huh? You ended at first last season, and you are a team as big as Chelsea with a name as big as Chelsea currently, and you guys are currently struggling to even stay third to a team like Liverpool, who people still underestimate despite their attack being super strong lah. So imagine how Conte feels right now, the pressure from the board and the fans. I'm not surprised that he's doing all these panic buys because of that.
That's fair enough. Well, we hope the situation is resolved or not, because we're going to move on back to Asia, back nearer to home, to the AFC Under-23 competition.
Ho Chi Minh.
This has been a very eventful AFC Under-23 competition.
Hey, JTT. Huh?
Because this year, the Southeast Asian teams were surprisingly dominant, except for Thailand. They lost in the group stages, but it doesn't matter because we're going to focus on a few teams first. Australia, Japan, Korea, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. These guys are the big names in Asia, okay, as we all know. They were all knocked out. Australia was knocked out in the group stage.
Oh.
Yeah, Australia was knocked out in the group stage, and you know who knocked them out? Vietnam. You've got Japan, who got destroyed by Uzbekistan 4-0.
And Uzbekistan is in the finals now.
Yeah, and Uzbekistan did it again with South Korea after South Korea fought hard to beat Malaysia lah, and Qatar lost to Vietnam in penalties. Now, we're going to go to the notable plaudits, which is, as we've mentioned before, Vietnam and then also Malaysia, because Malaysia became the first Southeast Asian side to reach the quarterfinal stages, to reach the knockout stages of the competition. We made history. Then Vietnam made more. But hey, this has been the best performance by the Malaysian team to date. I would not take that away from this. They've been playing
For
extremely well.
Under-23s lah,
Yeah, for Under-23 in AFC.
No, I mean if you're talking about a Malaysian team in general, so
Yeah.
for the past 2 decades.
Yeah, they beat Saudi Arabia, and we've been poor against Saudi Arabia. We lost our first game, but we still made it through.
Right.
But it was unfortunate that we lost to South Korea. South Korea played well, we played well too. That's just the better team won lah. But Vietnam though, we will push our focus to that because we received an article from Samuel Bola who talked about how the manager decided to go back to basics as usual with football. And what he did was he employed a very strong zonal marking system. And this zonal marking system is a hybrid because instead of playing zonal where you just follow the ball as you usually see in games, these guys, what the manager decided to do was, if a defender attacks a player, we go to the Australian game.
Pressure.
If the defender opts to go to a player who's holding the ball, there will be another player in the same zone who will slowly cover that zone before any other player can go in and take the gap. Yeah. So there's constant pressure every time an attacker decides to try and breach the defense. And that was the reason why, and that is still the reason why, Vietnam are doing extremely well. That's about it. They played simple football, like in the sense where they learn where are the spaces and where are the gaps that the attackers will go to, and they go there. And this was also down to the whole unit, Vietnam as a whole unit, from the technical director up to the players. Every single game, the technical director actually goes down to the field to watch.
I think this is what we can say a tactical masterclass from Vietnam.
It is actually
because of the fact that I'm pretty sure we've seen multiple European teams do this, and I'm pretty sure if Vietnam were to go play in Europe or somewhere a bit more international, they might still suffer because they lack that creativity. But here in Asia, it still works for them.
Yeah.
This is because of the fact that, okay, let's be honest with ourselves, the Asian football scene is not as big as the Europe one or the American one.
Right.
Yep.
But at the same time, we're slowly catching up with them. Okay? With these kind of basic tactics being employed, these kind of tactics slowly gaining more traction. Yes, that's the word. Gaining more traction here in Asia. It's gonna prove to be really good for Asia's football scene in the long run. And
it is.
I'm very hopeful to see it flourish.
Yeah, and we hope for all the best for Vietnam as well. We want them to go through all the way this time around.
Not Uzbekistan.
But Uzbekistan also. Uzbekistan has the goal scoring power.
Uzbekistan is scary, man. What the fuck?
Uzbekistan has the goal scoring power. That's all I can say. I don't know. We don't know how he still got the whistle, but he's still there. but yes, a bit back on Vietnam as well. I forgot to mention a few things. Was that Vietnam to this point has never performed this well. The last time they played, this is the second time. The first time they played, they were 15th out of 16th.
Yeah, but
in
to
the
be
whole
fair,
group.
even Uzbekistan has not performed this well before. I'm surprised that teams like powerhouses like Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea, all of them suffered.
But Uzbekistan, if I were to say in the AFC scene, they are quite established. I have to say they're quite
I won't
established.
deny that.
Yeah, and well, it just goes to show that this is these two teams proving point in the final this time around. Even though it's just the under-23, but there's a lot to prove because Vietnam has already declared a public holiday on the 27th.
Not joking.
We're not joking. They have already declared a public holiday to watch the match.
What's with APAC countries declaring holidays before the match?
But this match will be down to high goal scoring team, and a very high disciplined defense
So
team.
it'll be a good match.
It'll be a cracking match, and well, even though Malaysia is not in the AFC Under-23 finals,
We did well.
We did well.
Kudos to the team.
We did well. You guys just try and go and watch this game because
Okay.
it's the future generation we're talking about over here.
Okay.
You know what I was surprised? Who didn't perform well?
Who?
Thailand.
Yeah, I was very
That's what
surprised.
you- that's what you
That's what I
said.
said. That's what I said. I was very surprised Thailand didn't perform well, despite the 5-year preparation that they had. Well, that's about it for the AFC Under-23 campaign and also the podcast. This is the last bit, just to close it. Thank you so much again for the motherfucker. When I go into something deep like asshole. Okay, nevertheless, once again, congratulations Malaysia for making history, and all the best to Vietnam. And there's only one way.
Only Vietnam, Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan lah, yeah, Uzbekistan
but
also
I
lah.
mean,
It's a favoritism, this guy. Like fucking Ho Chi Minh City, this guy.
Hey man,
Tell me you're not gonna root for Vietnam, CK.
If they give me free banh mi, then I'll root for them.
No, I want 4.
Banh mi
it's
is
fur. Fur.
And with that, that's the end of
And with that, let's end the
everyone.
podcast. See you guys next week. Hopefully, YuHan will be back. For episode 79, loads of balls.
Lots of balls.